Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wolf Quest 3 and the tale of our twin moons, our two wolves from the Moon Pack legacy. And we are carrying on with Parsley, the darker of our moons, today as she gets ready to establish territory. We're jumping right into it, my friends. She did indeed take that 4-star wolf that she met with his two brothers. They had been on a brother's journey for quite a while as her mate, and now Parsley is actually expecting pups. She is expecting pups, and she has spent the entire journey away from Amethyst Mountain back over to the creek, telling her new mate Azur, whose name is a Spanish name for goshawk, which I really loved. And don't worry, all of the bird names that you guys suggested are definitely going to be used in the future for some of our pups too. But she is bringing Azur to her family territory, the traditional Moon Pack territory, to carry on one of the next generations. I am so excited about this because we get to go back to where she grew up. We get to try to reestablish ourselves in the same place. I really feel like Parsley just felt like, you know, it was a great forest spot that she spent a lot of her days in. There was illness over by the more like open canyon areas, so I think she'd kind of stay away from those zones. But we're going to be headed back to where the Moon Pack is going to claim land of their very own. So, you and your mate are expecting pups. You must now carve out your territory here in the hills and meadows of the creek. Later, just before the pups are born in 2 months, you must find a good den within your territory. Other packs are expecting puppies, so they are establishing and expanding their territories too. You need to make sure to claim enough space to create a safe buffer to protect your vulnerable pups from them. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to work on establishing our, 15 spots of territory. Look at where we are! It has been so long! Look at all of this territory! Oh my gosh! It's beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work our way up through the meadows. We are going to try to head back around here because this is the forest that she actually grew up in and that we were able to claim. And we are going to push hard against the Crevice Lake Pack, also known as the Dark Lake Pack in this current arc of our story, because they were the ones that we fought constantly with, that Meadow and Genesis had to really toss themselves against to push back again and again as those very aggressive Crevice Lake wolves ended up actually taking out our poor little Daisy, and Daisy was actually killed by one of them, which is just devastating, and we're not going to let that happen again. But alright, so our very first quest, go ahead and have strong territory and at least 15 hexes, and even if we don't plan on staying here, Parsley would have absolutely no problem with being able to go ahead and proclaim at least a little bit of the strength of the Moon Pack, just right from the get-go. We'll go ahead and we will start marking in this area. We'll leave a little scent post. And Azur, and I'm pronouncing his name wrong, it's like Azor, or Azor, A-Z-O-R, and it's Spanish, but I'm gonna go with Azur. Like, that just sounds so cool, and it brings to mind like the blue rivers. Maybe he really likes the blue rivers and the creeks and streams too. So we might be like turning a little bit and need names of like plants that have blue flowers, because I think that's what he likes. But he has proven to be a very how do I put this? He's been proven to be a very, I would say, strong for sure, but steady. He's been a very steady mate so far. He's a little quiet, but he listens intensely, and he thinks very carefully about what he actually wants out of life. I think he's been quite surprised and quite proud to actually have a chance to run with Parsley and start claiming territories of their own. And I think Azur, he traveled a very long distance with himself and his brothers. Also, this is kind of cool to see Parsley in the beautiful, beautiful water. But he traveled a very long distance with his brothers and himself to be able to find a mate. So it's quite reassuring to him to have found someone who's actually familiar with this wild land. Are those turkeys? What? No, those are not turkeys. They look like turkeys, but they're actually coyotes chasing a rabbit. Oh my gosh. That rabbit is like fleeing for its very life. But he, oh look, yeah, he's very intense. He listens carefully. He's very thoughtful. And he's very relieved that he traveled so far to be able to go ahead and find, and I'm gonna need to like change all of our favorites again. But he is relieved that he traveled so far to be able to find someone who does already have a family territory that has been well established and who is already ready to be strong and to like hold up her own pack. He has no problem with joining us for that. Also, it looks like we have a bunch of deer. We are a little hungry, so we could do a spot of hunting. Why not? A bunch of deer over here. And we won't waste any time. And let's see how hunting with him might go. Oh, she was already a little wounded and we didn't even know. Oh, there's a huge like herd of elk just right over here. What? All right, that's somewhat tempting for this area. Oh, he's got a strong bite. Good. All right, come on, Azur. We'll catch our breath for just a second. Get a couple more bites in. He's got a good bite. Look at these two work together. What? He's really doing good. So like I said, he's a little more intense than you might expect. But he's just ready. He's ready to be a wolf who can take over some territory. He's ready to raise a family. He takes those things very seriously. Let's take her out before she gets in the river. Yes! And now we've got a little bit of our, a little bit of food to go ahead and eat. Excellent! Good job, you two! We were a little bit hungry, and it might be worth it to maybe think about being able to claim some of this area. Holy cow. Alright, because this is actually very abundant with prey, at least at this moment. The Butte pack usually takes this zone over pretty strongly come spring. Alright, come on, Parsley. You can go ahead and eat more. You've got to eat for however many puppies you're carrying. But I like him. See, he's very thoughtful. He looks around very carefully. And I think that he just tends to really think deeply about how everything is connected. There go the little coyotes, just constantly on the prowl around here. I wouldn't want to have a den here with that many coyotes, but... Alright, we'll go ahead and start heading north again. Playfully spooking the coyotes, just because we can. Oh my gosh, there were a lot of coyotes. There were like 4 of them. Maybe they were trying to come to the hunt and see what we were up to. Alright, and we'll keep going. And we'll just start heading north and kind of claiming territory as we go, just to be able to get those 15 hexes filled in quickly enough. But alright, come on, Parsley. I think she's feeling the pull and lure of being able to return to the dens that she was raised in, to the spot that really worked well for her family last time. I can't blame her for wanting to just like make a beeline for it. But it will be kind of interesting to try to just establish a bit of territory down here and maybe be able to expand our hunting grounds as a result. There we go. And better to go ahead and establish these things now than run into all of the trouble of having to push the other wolves out of the territory later. Oh, nice. We've already got a nice spot right over here. Plus, we might discover some new dens. These things look like dens. This looks absolutely like a den. This looks like the traditional bear butt biter den. What? So somewhere right here, I think is a den. We're practically on top of it. Is it over here? No, now we passed it again. Is it over here? We're getting closer. Oh, what's that? This is a bunny. Why does the bunny have such intense music? This is like a snack for dinner. It's a lucky rabbit's foot. I don't know if that means that I would want to be like in this area, because this pack in particular doesn't really pay attention much to like the idea of lucky rabbit's feet or the ancestors at this stage. Oh, it's the bison who are over here. Nope, we're not gonna chase them, Azur. Azor. I like him. I think he's very wise. Like, he's traveled a lot. He has experienced a lot of things. Let's see. We're so close to the den, and yet, yeah, it's somewhere down here, apparently. And yet we're not quite finding it. Oh, is this it? Right over here? Wow, there's a big snowbank? What? Oh, this is so cool. There's a lot of, like, spots to discover over here. Alright, so potential den. Is it one of these rocks? But if we had discovered it, we would have found it by now. However, you can... I would call this potentially a den, but maybe it's just a boulder. Because you can circle around and you can eventually discover a den, but maybe we can't discover it till after we claim some territory. So let's keep moving. Let's see. So we've actually established a good little section of territory. I'm not displeased with this. And we'll just keep moving for now. We don't really need to do some hunting, but we definitely want to go ahead and try to claim as much territory as we can before we go ahead and sleep, because that's when the other wolves really take advantage of the whole zone. And the next thing you know, you just lose the ability to like control this area. So let's continue heading north back to the traditional moon pack territory. And then every time we can, we'll go ahead and stop and mark more spaces. There we go. Oh, and if we had just a little bit to the west, we should be able to claim a new spot. Here we are. See? Excellent work, Parsley. She has no problem with just coming in strong and being like, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine too. Do we want to hunt this lucky rabbit's foot real quick? There we go. We'll see if Azur is hungry. Oh look, he's establishing stronger territory too. Good job, Azur. Is he hungry? Yeah, we'll let him go ahead and snag. Oh, he's just carrying the food! That's so cool! He's just happy to like have the meal for later. Very cool. Alright. So how are we doing now? Pretty good, we're already 6 there, and we just need to continue heading up past McBride Lake towards this part of the forest. We'll really shove the Crevice Lake Pack out of the way if we need to, because that, as far as Parsley is concerned, is territory that belongs to her and her future pups, her family. And meanwhile, I just love the idea that Azur has stories of his own. I think he has a lot of depth and wisdom and insight into like how the forest works, how the different creatures live, what they smell like, where they breed, the way that birds come out of eggs, which is very different from how wolf pups are born after all. So he might have a lot of practical lore and insight to offer as a mate, which I really like. There we go. I like leaving the scent marks in this zigzag pattern just right by the edges, because that'll make it so much easier to be able to re-establish those. She is just blazing a clear line towards what she wants. I love it. All right, let's keep going, Parsley. She knows where she's headed, and she is going to let everybody in the forest know. Oh, that creek reminds me of her mom finding these areas for the first time. She's gonna let everybody here know that the moon pack is back, and she's determined to make the most of this and make it her home and her land again. We'll have to find all these dens in a little bit too. That's gonna be exciting. Okay, there we go. Almost right to the edges. Oh, this is gonna be so fun when she finally hits the northern forest again. All right, a little more to the east, and then we'll claim that spot. She literally blazed a path. I love it. You're lucky we're not in the mood to hunt right now. Okay, and a little more to the north. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and mark this spot. And look at that. So she has blazed a path straight through the snows. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And I think she's ready to work her way up and reclaim what she is very positive is her family's territory and put out as many scents as she can before we fall asleep to go ahead and really make sure that the other wolf packs know, and especially the Dark Lake pack will probably push hard against them along this line too, that the other wolf packs know that this is our home. So, Parsley is returning home to the northern forest, and she has brought her new mate Azur, a more serious and thoughtful wolf who has a lot of lore and insight into the ways of the forest, and has traveled very far in his days as he was searching for a mate just as strong, just as bold, and with just as much former territory to re-inhabit as Parsley. And we're going to get ready to hopefully establish the rest of her territory and welcome the wolf pups next time. So if you guys could, do please leave a like for Parsley and Azur. And if you would like to join us on this and literally thousands more adventures, do please consider subscribing. But most importantly, my friends, stay curious. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!